Bounty Hunters. Life on the blockchain.
Welcome back to Bounty Hunters Life on the motherfucking blockchain. This episode is sponsored by my company, Grego AI, the #1 AI security tool in Web3. And I will flex that all on everyone if we drop this episode this week. Humble flex, of course, with multiple high and critical bugs found in Lido, Chainlink, ENS, and redacted. Grego.ai to secure your protocol or your entire ecosystem. Reach out to me. Our guest today is, I don't even know how I say your name. Is it n4nika?
It's n4nika. Hey man, pleasure being here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for joining, man. Very, very nice to finally have you on, and very nice to finally get back on the podcast. It's been a big gap between the last one. Yeah. It's just like I'm not doing human bug hunting, man. I'm doing the AI hunting, and I'm running this business now, and it just takes so much of my time, and I feel disconnected sometimes from like manually looking at contracts, and I got to say I really miss it.
Understandable, man. And I see you're killing it, huh? Like some crits, highs.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're gonna drop one this week. We can't give any details. You'll just see the payout amount, which is really big. Yeah, man, should be good stuff. But were you in France for the event?
Unfortunately, not. No, couldn't make it this year. But I plan.
I see you did the last one, right?
Next one. Yeah, I was at the last Con. It was last year's ECC. It was pretty good.
Dude, this is my first time to Con, and I tell you, man, everything was awesome, man. We were able to sponsor the Wonderland CTF. I was able to compete in it with Austrian Mafia, with Jax, Mario.
Yeah, killing it.
we had the Frenchman there. We had Zig. That was great, man. What a great time. And shout out to the Wonderland guys. Great crew. And it just the event was kick ass. A lot of good meetings. And
yeah, I'm telling you, man, highly recommend. Sad I missed it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully next time it's in summer because that would be kick ass. Yeah. So, are you part of the Austrian Mafia as well?
I am. Yeah. Oh shit. Proud member.
Oh, shit. I love it, man. These guys are just. I've never seen anyone with the craziest diet like Mario. So we're at the table and this guy's eating. He's just eating and eating, and he's just jacked. He just eats constantly. He has octopus for breakfast, steaks for dinner. I mean, this guy's he's an Austrian beast. Love that guy.
The man can eat the table. It's crazy.
He can. He's an animal. So what about you, man? What have you been up to? Last thing I think I saw from you, you found a bug. I think it was on Scroll. Was that your last one?
It was Scroll, yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, I've been all over the place, doing some bounties, doing private work, working on some internal tooling. So whatever comes up, I'm doing. But mostly going at it quite chill.
You've been doing this, what, a couple years?
Yeah, it's been almost 2 years now. Honestly, probably a little more than 2 years since I started, but a little less than 2 since I did it full time. So I've been in the space for quite a bit now. But man, it passed so fast. Like I can't even tell you how fast the past 2 years were going. It's crazy.
Yeah, I tweeted this out today, but I have like, do you use Tenderly at all?
I don't know.
All right. It's just like you could trace through transactions, set alerts. And I've been using it. You don't realize like how the time passes, but I set an alert 3 years ago for this deployer address for God knows what I was looking at. And it just triggered. It sent a message to my Telegram today. And I'm thinking, I'm like, holy shit. Oh shit, an alert triggered. And then I look at the transaction and it's like the deployer sending ETH to another address. And it hadn't done anything in 3 years. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck was I looking at here? Like, I have no fucking clue what this fucking bug or situation. So it's just like, always label your alerts, okay? Especially if you have them 3 years old.
That's alpha right there, man.
The alpha drop. Label your fucking
Already,
alerts.
man. 2
God.
minutes in.
But time flies, man. You look back, you're like, what the fuck, man? It's just hopefully you touch grass at some point.
I try to.
Oh man. So I want to ask you something. So you had I saw this scroll bug. I don't think you did a write up on it. And the reason I'm asking is because we have a team of SRs that we work with, and a lot of these issues with like the DLT bugs, I mean, sometimes half the battle is setting up the local net to do the sims. And I saw you had the same problems, and I'm like, dude, this is the case for everybody. And I think there's a Hall of Fame, just piece of shit projects up there that may have great tech, but the docs on setting up local net and just the intricacies of doing so, where they'll take that result as like, hey, a valid bug bounty submission. There's a top few that just are the worst ones to be able to set up. And if you set them up properly, it's like legendary status.
I'm telling you, it's terrible. Like for every single bug, I usually like when it's in blockchain DLT, every single time the setup and getting everything to work takes longer than actually finding the bug.
Yeah.
It's such a pain. Like usually you have some setup script, like it should work out of the box, but for some reason it doesn't. So you just have to debug forever to somehow get a working local net and then hopefully confirm your exploit. And it's driving me nuts sometimes.
And usually they don't take the bug, even if it's a simple bug, and you could just say, no, look, like literally it's right here. And it depends on the team, but I've had times where they're like, no, build a full end to end. And you're like, oh, fuck. But then I've also had the time where I built the end to end and then the bug wasn't valid. So I see the point.
I mean, so often there's just one tiny thing you miss, and that's one of the reasons you actually have to write a POC. I mean, it's good you have to, because it just shows you, hey, there might be some tiny detail missing that you didn't see in like a huge call stack of stuff you're going through. Mm-hmm. And then you just have to throw it out. But I mean, that's part of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're not paying you a bunch of money for nothing. So
exactly.
You gotta,
if they pay you at all.
Oh, right. I know, 0 or 1, right? I feel like sometimes we get like this maybe entitled feeling where we say, hey, look, like I'm hunting for free. I found the bug. Why should I have to build the full E to E? Look, I found the bug, and you convince yourself that whatever. But it's like, dude, it's part of the job, man. You just need to suck it up and just do the work.
It's the one part that I gotta say really sucks. I mean, it kind of sucks, the process of building it up, but then actually getting a full exploit to work, the feeling is fucking amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, that is the best, man. I wanted to ask you about, like, I was looking at your Cantina profile, and you have, and I don't know if you're using like LLMs to understand some of these, or are you just like a polymath with these languages? But you have, I think, every language in your bio here, like Sway. No one uses Sway. Yeah. Okay,
I know.
FunC. You got the ton language.
Yeah, man.
What's going on here? And then you got all the other Go, right, like everything else. So what's happening here?
I'm telling you, that's really coming from how I just approach my whole being in this space. It's just, I started out 2 years ago, and back then everyone was doing Solidity, right? Like everyone was doing Solidity audits. There were more and more auditors coming in. All the contests were Solidity. And there was like 1 or 2 Rust contests. And I was like, if you're starting now, you just gotta go for some niche and just double down on some niche things that no one else is doing. And I started doing that, and then it turned out pretty well. Like my first big contest was Babylon, which I won. So it was like some custom Go implementation. So from there on, I just stick with it and try to do the most niche thing everywhere I could do. And that's just how I got into taking whatever language. Like for this is mostly contests. Whichever contest has the most abstract language and the thing that the least people do, I just went into it. So I stacked up quite a few different things there. That's
But
been good.
you were just coming from like what was your background before this?
So I came from, I was studying IT. So I was doing software development, a little bit of electrical engineering, and we mostly did C, C++, assembly, so rather low level stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was basically, I mean, C is basically the foundation for everything.
Yeah.
So as long as you know C and you know C well and you know the concepts on the lower level, you can apply to basically any language.
I've heard that same thing, that it's a great base to build off of. Not many do
Absolutely.
it nowadays, I would say. I've never learned assembly. I've never learned C past like, very basic kind of, I understand the structure and everything, but hadn't wrote anything substantial at all. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I gotta say it's a
to have
great
the
one.
assembly understanding is if you look back with historical programming, I mean that was like if you were fluent in assembly and and then obviously C on top of that, you could build anything you want.
Absolutely. I mean, just looking back at all those engineers that built the things up from scratch in assembly and stuff, it's crazy work. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't even imagine building the things that were built by some of the engineers there. It's quite crazy. I mean,
Have
me
you
myself as a geek myself, I really enjoy doing the low level stuff C and then down to assembly because it's super cool to do the really technical stuff. But like building big things, big projects in that is must be so much work.
Oh, I can imagine. I've been seeing the discourse over the past few months on X about people, obviously younger than me, who realized like they looked at Windows 2000 and 98 and stuff, and they were loading up Office, and it loaded immediately, and how snappy that OS was. And I remember it. I think that was peak Windows, like it was Windows 2000 Business is what I used to roll with. But I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
I remember it was fast as fuck. And this new Windows, like my son uses it, and it's a joke. Like everything's a joke,
yeah, it
and
sucks.
it's the whole thing. And this is what programming's become is in these big corporations is just it's complete bloatware. Everything you put on is bloatware. Download an Xbox game, it's like 50 gigs. Every program is minimum a gig for just like it's like the whole thing was vibe coded before vibe coding came out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's yeah. I mean, back then things were optimized. It had to run the hardware, so it had to fit. Like it had to run on the little things you had, and now it's just can throw anything in there you want to.
And we need a reversal though, because imagine what we do with this hardware now if everything's optimized.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes a geek salivate. Oh, fuck yeah. Imagine the optimization on this. Dude, so, all right. So you had, let me ask you this. So when you looked at, let's see, you had two projects here, Chorus One and Mighty Bear, which were on the Ton blockchain, right?
oh yeah.
What is so? All right, is this because we always hear these things like, "Oh, this is more secure. We need this language for this." Like, what was your, if you recall, like, what was your thoughts on this? Is this the new language taking over everything? Is this more secure? Is this like any feedback on those?
I still remember. So I think it was about a year ago when I did the first ton FunC audit, and I was just going into it because I thought it was low competition, no one did it, and I was right at that. And I did the audit, and after that, I was like, man, I never want to see that language again.
Why?
It's just so you can understand for FunC, it's custom built for the Ton blockchain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on the blockchain, you just have completely different primitives and things are just handled completely different. Like you don't have the atomic transaction model. It's basically if you want to do CPI, you send a message from your contract, which gets sent, I think, as far as I know, asynchronously to the destination content contract, and you don't get an immediate atomic response. So you have like a complete different model of how you interact with contracts, and there's so many caveats there and so many things you could fuck up. I never really got to like it.
Are there any bug class carryovers? Like,
Sorry, I
is
didn't
there
get that.
reentrancy or overflows?
I think your mic just died, Riptide.
Hello? You still there? Oh shit. We do not have our guest. He has disappeared. He's disappeared into the Ton blockchain. And now I'm sitting here talking to myself. Hello, you there?
Hey man, yeah.
Okay. Dude, rural living with Starlink is usually good. However,
But
I
I
don't know
can't
what just
hear you
happened there.
again. Okay, now yeah, back. You're back.
Okay. Oh shit, man. Okay, hopefully we're good. It says green on my end, so
Yeah,
I
looks
think
good right
Elon
now.
turned it back on for me.
Nah, thank you, Elon.
Shit. I think the last I heard from you, we were talking about. I was asking about like any other bug classes. Do they apply to Ton, like reentrancy and overflows? And then you went dark.
I mean, yeah, to a certain extent. Of course, you have your type issue. You have under overflows depending on how you configure it, but there's just a few different things that you got to consider because you have a completely different CPI system. And honestly, I'm not that deep into the language. At some point, I really did not want to have any more to do with it, so I kind of stopped doing audits for that language. But it's just the big thing is that there's new bug classes which you have to look for, and it's just a mental model on that is just I don't really like it.
Mm. I'm just wondering: are there a lot of funds being secured on that blockchain?
I mean, there's definitely some. I think there's a few quite big protocols like StonFi. I don't know how big they are really, but yeah, there's definitely okay. They got like 20 mil market cap. There's definitely quite some on there. I mean, it's the native chain for Telegram. So as far as I know, they handle some payments through that, but I never really looked that deep into
Here we
it.
go. Ton stakers, I've never even heard of these things, man.
I
The
mean,
world is so big, you just don't know. Like, there's people that are using this. This is awesome.
yeah,
Ton.
I mean,
What
there's like,
about, all right, what's this other one? Sway. And this was with
oh yeah,
Redstone. Who else is
Sway
using
was
Sway?
interesting. There were,
What what is that
I don't
like?
know if you remember, but there was a big attackathon last year on, or no, actually 2 years ago, I think, on Immunify, which was Fuel,
Oh, I
which was
remember
this,
that. Was that Sway?
yeah, that's the big new L1, or I think it was L1 or L2, and their native language was Sway. So they built the Sway language to be used on their blockchain. And it's basically it's similar to Rust. It's Rust based, and you have some new additional primitives. But I did that one audit, that one competition, and then never anything for that again.
Well, this was the future fuel. So let's see where are we at now.
Yeah,
Let's see.
I
Fuel
actually be
bridge,
curious because I didn't hear anything of them.
12 million. Let's see. Fuel
Oof.
ignition, 4 million. Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
so shocked that this didn't take all the market share away from everyone.
What? I mean, they were at 300 million TVL at some point.
Oh my god. Yeah, probably incentives farming, usual.
Yeah.
I'm shocked, absolutely shocked. What about
Couldn't
these
have
other
guessed.
ones? The other ones that I do see have staying power that you've done are some of the Bitcoin ones. Like you did this
Yeah,
one
yeah.
where you got, I
That's
mean, you were like 50 grand off this Citrea Bitcoin application
Yeah, it
layer.
was recent. Yeah, that's like the one thing I really focus on right now. It's just anything Bitcoin adjacent, cross chain, and
Mm-hmm.
especially infrastructure for Bitcoin. So
Yeah.
that, for example, that was last year. They built a new Bitcoin L2, and Citria was their bridge for that. Was
Okay.
quite interesting, pretty good contest. But
First ZK rollup on Bitcoin, Clementine Bridge. Yeah,
yeah,
like
Clementine is the bridge for them exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I think these ones will be around. Like it's actually, if you're going to do DeFi, do it where no one's doing it. I think there's only a
Yeah,
few, there's probably more than I think now, like the Bitcoin projects,
there is
because
a
you have
few,
all these,
especially.
yeah, you have people owning all this Bitcoin and they obviously want yield. And I mean, I think there's plenty of demand for it.
Absolutely, especially if you look at the Babylon one. So Babylon's this really big player in the Bitcoin field. That was actually the first audit I ever did, was the contest for Babylon, the first big one I did.
Mm-hmm.
And their whole premise is that you can do native staking. So you stake your Bitcoin on Bitcoin, they never leave the chain, and you can use them as collateral or as staking power on connected chains, which
That's
is
pretty
quite
cool.
interesting. It's pretty cool. And I mean, they got, as far as I know, they got like 5 billion in TVL pretty quickly. Just everyone was going to them because first, they were the first to do it, and it's a great, great thing to do actually if you can just use your native Bitcoin and get some value from them.
Yeah.
So there's some big
Yeah.
players there, definitely.
52,000 BTC staked right now.
Yeah, but now
Wow.
it's like 4 billion or something.
And so they just stay on, so you must sign something on, I don't even know how this works. That
Yeah,
sounds
it's a
interesting.
completely different system. Like Bitcoin, that's actually
Wow.
very interesting. Bitcoin, how it works is quite nice. The layer on top.
Let's see. So they're securing over 3 billion, active bug bounty, a 500,000. Oh yeah, definitely aligning the incentives there, guys.
Yeah, they were at 2 mil, but they reduced it to half a mil.
Bear market. Yeah.
Yep.
It's well, black hats, they don't work in the bear markets anyway. They get a little notice that comes
Luckily,
out.
luckily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll never align incentives. I swear to God.
It's impossible.
It's fucking
Like
impossible.
it's definitely possible to make it better, but getting to a point where you can get guaranteed to pay your white hats and incentivize them enough to actually hunt on a level that black hats do is so hard. And we're nowhere near that at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we could solve that using um, AI because it's just such a time suck. It's such a huge opportunity cost for them to have a human go ahead and hunt through all their contracts for however long it takes versus if you have a high level AI able to match that SR and can review that in a matter of hours and you're paying the cost of compute. Honestly, I think that's what we need to help secure this ecosystem because
Absolutely.
I think this model that we have now is kind of done the one-off audits because black hats have access to all this advanced AI and something will just be uncovered. So it's like you need like a constant security posture.
I think at this point you definitely need AI. Like you can't go without it. But at the same time, I think even though AI is getting better and better, you still need some level of human research as well. Because you
Hmm.
at least from my point of view, it's not exactly there yet. And what I think is the big thing where it's really amazing at is really big code bases, like, for example, blockchain targets. Just
Hmm.
because the real bottleneck here for researchers is, as far at least from my experience, is that those projects are so huge that it's almost impossible to cover all of it. And if you
Yeah,
have an AI that can actually cover it and reason on it in a reasonable way, in a productive way, then there's a huge uh, time saved there, and you can definitely improve your output by quite a bit.
absolutely agree with you. There's so many vectors when you think about it. If you run a big blockchain and maybe you have 10, let's just say 10 devs that you have, and maybe you have two of the original team. And so these guys know the most of the code base and they're the senior guys. Then you have another team of 10 and you're working on this. Is your is your approval pipeline correct in GitHub? Who's making changes, who's actually reviewing, can they review everything? And it's there, like you said, there's so many moving parts to these big projects that it becomes unmanageable. It does. When you look at it, it's like like look at Geth, right? Look at it's such a big project, and you just look, you're like, oh, I wonder if there's any bugs here. Just go to the issues tab. Like there's so many fucking
Yeah,
problems, and that's any big project, and it's almost like you can't not have that. Every possible look at the Linux kernel, look at everything. Everything is being touched by a lot of people. They're looking at it, and there's always some issue. And so, how do we move forward and secure all of this with AI to change from decades and decades of precedent where this is just always just how we do business?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you said, it like at some point it just gets unmanageable, and I really love that AI is being harnessed and improved so much in this space that you can get more and more coverage. Of course, it's always hard to say how much really, like how much is still hidden, how much is there still to find. But it definitely, like especially as we saw with all the AI bounties and so on, it's getting definitely better,
Mm-hmm.
and it's definitely saved a bunch of money already.
As long as we can incentivize the white hats, whether I don't care what tools you use, human, AI, whatever, as long as those parties have enough power and incentive to do what they do, that we outweigh the black hats and beat them as far as front running the transactions, whatever it is, we're in a better position. It's just I don't want to
Yeah.
see that power balance shift um, toward how many. I wonder if there's any kind of hypothetical percentages, like what percentage of hackers out there are opportunistic gray or black hats? And
Yeah.
now with AI, it's like the script kiddies, right? From back in the day. Now they've been able to amp up their skills with AI and become maybe master criminals.
Honestly,
Whereas,
I'm telling you, I'm so confident that has already happened. I mean, if you look at this year's
yeah,
exploits, there's been so many small to medium size. I mean, what small to medium size? Hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. But there's been so many that there has to be someone out there just farming all the contracts with AI.
yeah,
If you
yeah,
compare to last year, where most of the exploits were like private key leaks and other compromises, there's not been that many smart contract exploits, and this year has just been exploding in regards to numbers.
yeah. That's a good point because you were seeing like white hat mage, like some of these guys hitting some crazy bounties, but they have some detection capabilities. Like I always view it as there's auditors and bounty hunters, right? And they may have the same technical skill set, but one is just really good at finding bugs and the other isn't. And they might be able to be great. If you put them on the same contract, maybe they see the same bugs, but finding that contract is like the bounty hunter just knows he's got a system set up. And it's hard
Yeah,
to explain it because everyone does it differently, but that's the truth about it. So now these black hats, you're right, man, because you see like I see exploits all the time now, and I'm like, yeah, there's somebody out there with his AI, with his
yeah.
he's got his Pashov skills set up or whatever he's got going, and he's finding shit. And he's like, well, hey Claude, tell me how to exploit this live. How do I
Mhm.
how do I VPN? How do I use private meme pool? And
Make no mistakes.
yeah, exactly, man. What a crazy time. Fucking crazy, dude.
It is. No, so I'm really curious how this goes. And on the other hand, then you have exploits where you can't really do anything with tooling. I mean, you can do this to a certain degree, but mostly you can't do anything with tooling or improving your contracts. For example, the drift hack now is just
Mm-hmm.
how would a white hat help you there? So you will always have this disparity of exploits that can be prevented and others that still can be prevented, but just there needs to be a different approach on how to prevent them.
Yeah. I mean, how do you avoid the drift thing? You can come up with a lot of things. Oh, they shouldn't have done this. The durable nonces they called it. And in the end, right? If you have like an owner, like anyone that has admin privileges, you're at risk. What more can you say about it? Like you're accepting that risk. I don't care what you're saying about your OPSEC and you could do everything. You're still relying on some human to not make a mistake, which is
Exactly.
very
And
risky
then
when you think about 200 million at risk.
Yeah, and then you have your counterparty, which has basically unlimited resources, and you somehow have to defend against it.
Yeah. I think you should have what the blockchain was kind of built for, right? Do the immutability, have it permissionless, but don't have it centralized with some owner, with some multi-sig. Like design it the right way where you don't have to do that.
Yeah,
And if you've designed these systems, and I haven't, but I've admired the people that have, like Michael at Curve, the Uniswap team, those contracts are not bug free, and there are bugs that you're willing to accept by deploying immutably. But it's like, okay, are those protocol destroying bugs? No. Are those going to take funds from users? No. And I think the trade off is worth it.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you're just eliminating a whole aspect of risk there. You don't have to rely on anyone. It's just build secure code, and yeah, code is law at the end of
Yeah.
the day.
And this is coming up a lot where people are saying the interest rate, the rate you're getting, doesn't reflect the risk that you're taking in DeFi lately. And it only reflects the rate when you get DeFi Summer 3,000% APR. To be honest, I swear to God, man, I don't know. People put money in these fucking protocols, and it just blows my mind. And they don't do their due diligence. And even if they do, like even I speak with investors and LPs and stuff like that are putting funds in a new protocol, and they're like, they come to us, we do an audit of it, and they're trying to reduce their risk, right? You're trying to know
Yeah,
everything you can, like any investor would do. And the fact is, we can't guarantee that it's 100% bug free
never
yet.
can.
Nobody
Yeah,
can do that. But the risk, it just doesn't reflect it, man. And then add in the admin risk too. You got a 25-year-old dev. Nothing against 25-year-olds, but growing up in a non-OPSEC cloud-focused world where he's got 26 browser extensions, and then he does some nefarious stuff on his laptop that he shouldn't be doing, and it's the same work laptop, and he might have a hot wallet, and then the multi-sig gets together for beers on the weekend. Like, it's just, how do you quantify those risks as an investor?
I can't even imagine how to do it. It's I mean, it must suck. At some point, you just have to accept it, I guess. But
That's not a good answer. You just accept it.
no, it is not.
No. All right. I met this dude. At Con, and he was from a project that he was starting called Core 3. I think it was Core 3. And he was showing me it was a risk dashboard that he was trying to take TradFi financial ratings and metrics to DeFi, which is really cool. So, if you have, and there's always some sneaky shit going on at TradFi as well. But if you say, okay, this company's rated A minus, and here's the rationale, the criteria for that, okay, one can have a reasonable assumption on the riskiness of this debt. And so he's building this for DeFi, and he has like protocols rated, chains and stuff. And I was like, okay, it's cool. And I look through the criteria, and obviously I look at security. I say, what's your security criteria? And it was like, has been audited. Okay, yes. More than one firm, gets more weighting. Does it have a bounty? Yeah. Okay, that gets more weighting. Uh, and then I think there's one other metric, and it was like, well, that was it. I was like, well, it should be. You could probably improve this. He's like, oh, it's a draft, but it's something, I guess. But you could add in stuff like what L2 bead has with the L2 is like, okay, is the multi-sig, like how many guys in the multi-sig is this immutable? Like so many different things you could tack on
Yeah.
there to help quantify this to potential investors.
But as you said, like once you start investigating on who holds the multi-sig and how much can you trust the people holding the multi-sig, it gets so complicated. It's I doubt that any VC really does that deep of a research on like the multi-sig owners, the exact the exact layout of the contracts, like the roles and stuff. It's just so hard to manage, especially if you're not a very technical person.
Yeah, how do we fix that?
That's a great question, man.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, is this because you think in mass adoption? How do you get people to do it? And the thing that I would like to see is for them not to worry about it. Just like you don't worry about. I mean, we need to factor insurance in here too, right? Because
Yeah,
how do you not? Well, at least in the U.S., right? You deposit money into a bank, and then like back in the days, you would have to choose your bank, and you would have to assess the risk of the bank. And once they introduced this FDIC insurance, which is basically the government backstop for your deposits at the bank, well, no one cared. Every bank was treated the same as long as it had a charter and it had this insurance. So that risk was offloaded to the government, okay, because of the amount of money at stake, right? So on the blockchain, where you're looking at a worldwide environment, where do you offload that risk to? Is that, I mean, we had Nexus Mutual was the only insurance protocol I remember, and I saw them at the conference. Like, I guess they're still around, but there's not like a government backstop for this thing, so it's going to
yeah.
be have to be from the private sector, and maybe that's from an insurance product.
I think in that case, decentralization is actually holding us back a bit because the blockchain is just a wild west. There's no central entity which you can blame. There's no real company which you can prosecute, whatever. So you don't really have that on the blockchain, and you can't have one entity which takes all the risk and then takes responsibility for it. So there's just a gap between how you can do it in TradFi and how you can do it on the blockchain, because it's just everyone on their own, and there's just not as many regulations. And that doesn't mean we would need more regulations. I mean, maybe we do, but that then again goes somewhat against the principles of decentralization. So there's always this gap between what you can actually do and how much you have to compromise on the other side. Then
Yeah, I think the private market will figure this out. Uh,
absolutely, at some point,
yeah.
yeah,
So I mean, I think when Nexus Mutual came out, I remember that being like, I think their idea was like, hey, the protocol wants to attract TVL, they're going to have this insurance for a hack. I don't, maybe the economics didn't work out where it was, the insurance was too expensive. I think it launched during DeFi summer, something like that. So people didn't give a fuck. They didn't care at all. It's like, it's sure not, who cares? 3,000 APR, I don't care. Maybe that's it.
I
Like
mean,
it's it.
if you tell a random guy who doesn't know crypto he's getting 3,000% APR, I'm pretty sure he'd take it.
I know, right? Like I go to their website and they're like, all right, 6 billion in crypto protected, 10,000 covers provided, number one in claims. I have no idea, but that's what we need, man. We need something here
Absolutely,
to,
yeah,
yeah, like the last ones I see here are from back in the day: Rari Capital, FTX, Euler, Yearn, Holden, like Cream. Like these are all old ones, man. I
yeah,
think, damn, I like this idea though. This is another great product. People should build something like this. So how do we ensure the, especially during bear market, this is just widely in everyone's face. Like, hey, this yield sucks, and the risk is unknown, and that's a terrible place to be. I think we're only attracting capital because people believe in like a 4-year cycle, and there's a lot of benefits to crypto, and I think the investment outlook is positive over the long term, of course, but this needs to be fixed. Yeah, definitely.
definitely, yeah.
Hmm. So let's see. Otherwise, what else going on over there? What else would you like to talk about, sir? Any what are you doing now? Audits, contests, bounties?
Building some stuff, doing private audits. So got some private audits going on, some new ones coming in. Building
And
some
what are
tooling.
you what are you building? What kind of tooling?
Of course, I'm building around with AI. It's basically
Hmm.
everyone these days.
But what is
So
it? Can you give us a high level?
basically, also AI auditor,
Oh
specialized on
shit.
blockchain, DLT. Yeah.
Good idea. Good idea.
But I
I
feel like
can.
everyone's doing that nowadays.
Yeah, but hey, look, I'm knee deep in this. Not everyone's doing the same thing. Just
It's
build
fair.
yours differently. Like think about it and come up with a unique architecture, and you
Exactly.
can
Yeah, you
crack
have
the
to have
market.
some unique selling point. You have to be better than someone or have something that other can't do.
Yeah, you can't just put some skills in there, some prompts, and expect to like, because what's the goal? Like, why do anything? You want to be able to 10, 100x the competition. So you need some
Yeah,
groundbreaking shit.
exactly. Yeah.
So if you could build that, I mean, I advise take a little magic mushroom and go deep into the forest, into the Austrian forest, and just think about it. Think about it deeply. Maybe you'll come up with some cracked
I'm telling you,
ideas.
there's gonna come some very good ideas there.
Dude, I tell you, man, the craziest stuff comes on my feed where these back in the day, 60s, these scientists were given LSD and they came back with some crazy new theorems. And hey, man, whatever it takes, like if you're on that day to day, here's another alpha drop. If you're on the day to day, like you wake up and you say, I'm going to crank some bugs. And you wake up, you maybe do some push ups and then you hit your coffee and then you get on your screens. Well, you're going to be on that same path every single day, locked in. Caffeine does that to your brain, locks you in, and you kind of have boundaries with your thinking, in my experience.
Yeah.
And so, how do you open up those boundaries? Well, you need to deviate. It's not like you come to the screen drunk. I think alcohol is one area where it does not help at all, right? But different things help. Like if you go for some hill sprints and then you come back, and that can kind of open up new pathways. If you could
Oh
do,
yeah.
um, you know, some people like different drugs may just have better effects than others. But if you just take something to expand your mind, as with marijuana or mushrooms or maybe LSD, I don't know, but like something that allows you to think differently than how you normally think and think
Yeah.
differently than the competition. And it could open
Absolutely.
up, yeah. And this is
And
me completely advocating for you to don't do drugs if you're already mentally unstable, but it could help.
but I gotta say, especially in our space where most of the people are rather technical and kind of nerdy,
Mm-hmm.
and really get obsessed with the technicalities of stuff and just be on the stuff for, I don't know, 12 hours a day straight. Taking a step back, getting a good workout in is such a mind changer,
Mm-hmm.
such a game changer. It's crazy. Like if you actually take care of yourself and you actually improve outside of being a geek, it's
It's true.
it's good.
Man, and when you really love doing something, you have a passion for something, and especially when you're young, you have no problem sitting in front of that computer for 10, 12 hours. I remember, man. I remember doing that. Just I wouldn't
Yeah,
feel
absolutely.
anything. You could just
Absolutely.
sit in the chair and like 12 hours go by. Hey, I'm a little tired of staring at the screen, but I could do
Yeah.
it day after day after day. And when you get older, I mean, you're like, fuck, man, you need some more balance. But it actually is like your body and your mind telling you, hey, look, you'll find more bugs this way. Just get the fuck out of the house
Absolutely.
for a bit.
The amount of times I just went into a protocol, like got it, like thought about it, got to know it quite well, and then just took a step back. I don't know, went to sleep or went to the gym or whatever, and then just thinking about it and then getting some idea. The amount of times it has happened to get a great idea and a great exploit path just by thinking about it while not staring at the code is
Hmm.
there's been many.
And how do you deal with like the new problem with getting lazy with AI? Like, how do you deal with like, oh, AI will just look at this instead of using your brain? Do you ever have that?
Of course.
How do you fight
Like
it?
I think everyone deals with that. It's just so prevalent. AI is so prevalent that at some point just you have to thought like, what if AI can do all of this? But I gotta say, for most of the things, you just gotta take a step back. I usually separate it. Like when I do a review or something, I on the one side I launch my tool edit, I generate all its output, and on the other side I do the manual review. So I do the manual review. I like help take AI to help me with understanding of the code base, like what leads to what areas in the code base are responsible for which functionality and so on. And once I got a good understanding, and once I have produced some findings, and once I know what's going on, I take a look at the AI findings and then cross-reference those against the code base. And I think if you explicitly do the audit yourself while also relying on AI in parallel, you still got some, like you got the benefits of both. Like you don't get lazy and you actually continue providing value with your knowledge and with your experience. But on the other side, you also find all the low-hanging fruits and everything that you might miss just because you already seen that stuff so many times by running AI in parallel. And I think that helps quite a lot to just take both and try to not get complacent by only relying on AI.
That's a good strategy. Are there any things that you've noticed that AI finds like consistently that humans miss or that you've missed?
I think it's hard
Like
to say
certain combinations of bugs, or it just because it'll find some weird edge case stuff, or like you say, cleaning up a lot of things.
I think often I had some things where, for example, in Go and Rust, especially Go, some typecasts or like some things that were very specific to the language that you would just read over and think it's correct because it looks correct. But then you have like a small assumption, like some slightly wrong syntax, and those things it catches very well, I would say. Like I had some bugs were found them this way just because the syntax looks correct, it seems correct, and if you don't dig into every single like deeper into the Go feature itself, you don't find it. But AI finds them quite easily.
Do you think the teams are like, when you're looking at these audits, do you think teams are dropping the ball with security? Like, are you seeing more prompts in the code base, and just maybe you could see that the code is maybe not as tight as the code you used to review?
Not really. I mean, I'm right now mostly working with some bigger clients, which I've had over for some time. So I'm reviewing code of teams that already have produced a lot of code, not some new projects. And I feel like they maintain their quality mostly. So it's been looking not too bad. I mean, I've heard of some projects, like not some projects, but from some people that they had completely vibe coded contracts and like everything was broken. But I've not had that much of an experience with that. So I gotta say, it's actually not that bad. And I
Okay,
feel like,
that's
especially in the
good.
blockchain space and blockchain DLT space, you can't really get away with it
Why do
too
you think that
much.
is?
Because, especially if you build something from the ground up, those systems are just really, really complex and have so many moving parts that it's gonna fuck up something.
Do you Are you seeing those prompts, that the MD files in the repos?
Not, no, not really.
You haven't seen those? Okay,
No.
I've been looking at some repos lately, and you'll see like a function of the contracts.md or whatever, and it's like, okay, that's an explainer generated by an LLM. That's cool, but then you'll
Yeah.
see certain ones where it's like their audit prompts that they've given to Claude.
Oh,
Okay, ensure that there's no reentrancy, and it's just all these different things, and you're like,
I get what you mean.
is this a new
Yeah.
red flag for bounty hunters to say, huh, did a human look at this, or did they just
No, you
trust the
gotta step
prompt?
back, trust the prompt, and say there's no bug in here because they ran this prompt on this.
Yeah, trust the
Saves you some
prompt.
work. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh shit.
But we're definitely gonna see more of that. It just
Yeah.
it just reduces the barrier of entry for even non-technical people to build stuff, which on the one side is good, but on the other side, for security, it's terrible.
Hmm. Yeah, this is a double-edged sword that we've been talking about a
Yeah,
lot. I love the fact that anyone with an idea can deploy. And the barrier before was you had to know how to code, and now you don't have to know how to code. And that opens it up even more. And there's your biggest sell on like, wow, this market's going to explode. But the security issue is yet to be addressed. And then, this only gets addressed with AI, I think, because just too much stuff will be coming on the chain, and you're going to
yeah,
have
and
to have these
especially
audited.
now that we see the contest markets going pretty much to zero. I mean, there's one or two contests sometime. It's I don't really know how we're gonna attract new talent and new people getting into the space, because there's quite a few people that got into it a few years back, and back then you could prove yourself, you could prove that you can win contests, that you know what you're doing. But how is anyone gonna do this now that there's no real opportunity to prove yourself? So I think that's a really important thing to address for us, because we need new people in the space at some point.
Maybe the bar has just been raised where you have to show yourself finding bugs live as bug bounties. And
Probably.
like, hey, look, this is what I bring to the table, and I'm more skilled than the next guy, but you can't have the same guys finding these tiny bugs. Like those don't have value anymore. The old bugs, and it's just the bar's just been raised and difficulties increased.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably where we end up, which is probably a good thing. It's unfortunate, but I think the good guys will rise to the top. And if there's new bug hunters out there and like new really good SRs, you'll see them, and they'll probably be a hybrid of human AI
Definitely. Yeah. I
masters
mean,
out
at this
there.
point, you have to use AI, otherwise you're falling back,
Yeah, yeah,
like at least to
amazing.
some degree.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, still, man, double-sided coin there because I know guys that don't use it at all, and they're bounty hunting and they're finding shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it all depends. Like if I was doing a normal audit as a protocol, I at this point I would, and this I called this last year. I was like, you're going to get to the point where you're not having AI eyes on your protocol for an audit, and you're going to ask for it. And I think we're at that moment now where people are like, well, all right, humans looked at it, but AI found some cool shit last time. Let's have it look through it again.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't really hurt.
No, no, it doesn't hurt. Not at all. Why not do it? Yeah. Cool, man. Anything else on your end? We are creeping up on the hour mark. Any burning
I think
questions?
no, no.
Okay. Well, that's it. Well, sir, thank you for coming on. A real pleasure to finally get you on the podcast.
Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure.
I'm going to have to get every member of the Austrian Mafia on here now that I met them in person.
Please do.
All right,
I'm
man.
not
We
gonna
will
be
see.
disappointed.
We will see you all next time on the blockchain.